Adam being the first variant,
Right.
and Adam being the first man in the Bible. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then second, so he is about time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Remember Doctor Strange when he first got the amulet or the time stone?
Correct.
He did that with the apple, going back and forth with the apple. So it's like...
So do you think he was the one who ate the apple?
No.
I know,
It's just the connection with the time.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would never have figured that out. You see how this guy thinks, man? It's just crazy.
Thank you for listening. Thank you for coming back and watching, listening to this. Your favorite podcast. This is the Maximum Filipino Show. We're doing Afterflicks. This is the Disney Plus original series Loki, and this is episode 6. This is the finale, so we've heard, and it is the title is For All Time, Always. I think this is like the second or third time we've heard this
line.
This line.
This phrase, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Okay. So, what a great ending.
Yeah.
It's a good ending for a series. And I've always liked this this show. I don't know what Wakka's talking about, that I felt like it was draggy. I don't think it was draggy. Not at all. Not even any episodes.
It was draggy for this episode.
I know. I'm talking about you telling me.
I thought we're beyond that point now. We came to an agreement yesterday or the other day, so we should be good. I
know. That's why I say I don't know what you're talking about. So anyway, okay. So this finale was good. They ended it well. They ended it in a way that you know for sure there's gonna be a connection to the movie, and it set it up for Doctor Strange will Multiverse of Mania, which. By the way, just for the record, this is kind of like expected, but I still want to give myself a tap on the back and said I called it, that TVA will be gone, timeline will be everywhere, multiverse was gonna happen, which I said it's expected, because if this didn't happen, there wouldn't be any Doctor Strange with Multiverse of Mania. So there has to be a multiverse for that movie to happen, and this show set that up for that movie. Yeah. My name is CB and this is Wakka.
I figured you forget.
Yeah, and welcome. If you haven't seen the show, if you haven't seen the Who Show or episode 6, and you got this notification, first of all, we want to say thank you for subscribing. We appreciate you. If you haven't been subscribed, hit that subscribe button and follow us. And what was I gonna say? So if you haven't seen this episode, don't watch this, because there's gonna be spoiler. We're talking about some spoilers in here. If you've seen it, come and join us. If you don't agree agree with the things that we mentioned here, feel free to comment it and let us know. If we miss a lot of things, let us know as well. We're being joined by TT Bell again. She's here.
Yes, she is here.
Joining us. What else? So yeah, there you go. That's the intro. What do you think about this episode?
It was good. Like you said, it was a good ending to a segue to the next movie. And now what I was hoping that the enemy would be like a ooh, wow, like a big impression, like Thanos, kind of wow, ooh kind of guy. But apparently it's just a regular variant, a regular human who was lucky among his variants. I mean, we'll get into detail about that. He was just a regular guy, and he was just like, oh, okay, just that kind of guy. I'm feeling about the main villain. Well, I guess he isn't the main villain for the upcoming season.
Yeah.
He Who Remains, I guess that's his real name.
Yeah, so in the comic books, that's a two different character. He Who Remains and Kang the Conqueror are two different characters.
Yeah. So He Who Remains is just a regular dude who been for millenniums, I guess. Been alive for millennium, and he was a wacko. His personality was...
Wait, why do you think he's a wacko?
Well, his behavior wasn't your usual behavior, your introduction of a villain, he wasn't like the most common villain being classy or being showing a very tough attitude. He was just a very like high wired scientist.
Yeah, because he wasn't a villain.
Well, he was to be called the villain, at least to Sylvie.
Yeah, but the character that he is not the villain.
I know what I'm saying for that guy.
No. I'm talking about the character that he's portraying. He's the so Kang, right?
Yeah.
He Who Remains was the very first variant.
Right.
And he's a scientist, he's a genius, he created all these things, and then because of the multiverse that he created, there's other bad version of him. But he's the first one, and he's a good guy. That's why he's trying to save the sacred timeline, so the versions of him that are evil won't show up. You get what I'm saying?
I get that. What I'm trying to say, his behavior, his mannerism, his personality was just not normal. I'm not talking about his character as the villain.
I know, but because you said just Thanos as aggressive and manly and things like that. Because
all right, let me go back. I was expecting a vibe that I'm expecting a tough Thanos, like this amazing bad guy. Because we all expected that Kang the Conqueror was going to be the main new villain in the upcoming MCU.
Right.
I just didn't. Well, of course, this guy isn't Kang the Conqueror. He was He Who Remains, as AJ said.
No, he is also Kang the Conqueror.
You just said he was two different variants.
No. In the comic books, there's two different.
Okay.
They're two different ones.
But
in the show, he is one. That's why he said, I have multiple names. They call me the Conqueror. They call me Who He Remains. They call me the Jerk.
Some version of God, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that I was expecting more of a regular, calm, collected person to talk to these guys, but he was acting like just a regular on high scientist who doesn't, what's the word I'm looking for? He has terrible social skills.
Well, yeah. Well, he's been alone for millions of years.
That was my point.
I know, but because what you're trying to say is, okay, so we already know that he's not the villain, right? And when we first saw him, I guess we're divided. It's like, is he a villain? Is he not? Because we're not sure until towards the end of the show when we find out, he's actually a good guy.
What I'm saying, he just didn't meet my expectations, what I was expecting.
Right.
That's all.
Oh, well, I think that's given. You know what I mean? And I totally agree. It's like, when you think about Kang the Conqueror, he might be like, he might be
what's throwing me
aggressive.
What was throwing me off was the word the Conqueror. I was thinking, being aggressive, but he was more just like a mad scientist kind of personality.
Right.
Like his behavior, he like I said, has social problems.
Mm-hmm.
But overall, I guess as the actor playing the role, I probably give it a 6-7.
6-7 is what?
Out of 10.
Yeah, for what? What rating?
His acting as the part, because I wasn't sure how I feel.
Really?
Yeah.
I actually think he did a great job.
Don't get me wrong, he did great. It's just that I felt he could have pushed more, but maybe that's just.
I think that's the character. What the character needs to be.
Yeah, you're right. I think so. But I'm getting overall, he did a good job on the role. And him not meeting my expectation I thought that was pretty cool. I was just hoping something big, but it was just like, ooh, just cool.
Yeah.
Hovering.
I actually when I thought about that, I was like, when I first saw, because we never read comic books, right? So we have no idea who Kang the Conqueror. We've heard the name multiple times, but we have no idea. And they said that it's a big villain. He's stronger villain than Thanos and things like that. Mm-hmm. So, in my head, I was like, if this dude is gonna be aggressive, just like he's gonna be like tough and aggressive, I was like, then we're just gonna have another Thanos, and I didn't want that. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So I feel I was glad that he wasn't like that. Though, like what we mentioned and like what the show mentioned, this is the different version of Kang the Conqueror. So in the end of the episode, when Loki looked out by the elevator, instead of the timekeepers, he's just Kang, or the same person
Right.
who he remains, or Kang the Conqueror is standing there,
Mm-hmm.
that might be a different personality. That might be more aggressive. That might be more Thanos looking personality.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because
Right.
there's millions and millions of versions of them now that they cross the nexus or the threshold.
Yeah, and I didn't want to throw it in there, but I'll just do it because I want to say he was right from the get-go. I guess of course there are multiverses, but there was one universe that He Who Remains tried to protect. So the nexus do not spread, because apparently the nexus itself, it's a universe of its own, and he was trying to avoid any additional universes to pop out and try to remain the time. Though I did like how it opened with the whole timeline thing, the opening episode. That was pretty neat.
Yeah, I know. I was gonna talk about that, but that was just one universe. What he's doing is just one universe.
Yep.
I don't know. I still think, I don't know. I'm a little bit of both, because it doesn't make any sense why it would be why it would be just one. Okay, so think about this.
I think it's one universe, and it's a loop because it's a circle. It's a ring.
Yeah. Oh, I get that. Okay, so why the crossing of the nexus, and how's that? Okay, so if there's multiverse, it will be another loop, and then another loop, and then the crossing path.
You
know what I'm saying? But the image is, in your own words, is spaghettified. So it's just one. It keeps going up.
But no, that's what. What's his name? That's what.
Pastor Paul.
No. What's his name again? He Who Remains. No, He Who Remains. That's what he said. That before any sort of management upon the multiverse, they were already intertwining. They were already overlapping. That's how they all end up meeting each other. The smart He Who Remains. All of them.
Yeah. But okay, so the end of the episode, we know that multiverse happened, right?
Right.
Do you see any other circle?
No, because he's been managing it.
Yeah, I know. No, what I'm saying is, He Who Remains is dead, right?
Yeah.
Nobody's managing it anymore. Multiverse happened. Right, because Loki ended up in a different verse.
Okay.
Right.
Right.
When he was laying down like this, dead, he looked out outside. What do you see?
The nexus starting to separate.
Yeah, just branches.
Yeah, branches. But then after it spread out, as the video or the film changed, the ring wasn't there no more.
Yeah, I know. But so it just okay. So the one multiverse, right?
Yeah.
Just right there. If you do multiverse in the same idea, multiverse will be there's another one, and then they cross pathing because of the nexus.
Oh, I see what you mean.
You get what I'm saying?
Oh, what I used in the beginning was universe. He used one universe. My bad. I didn't mean to say multiverse. Apparently, there was multiverse that intertwined, but then this one good guy, or so-called good guy, He Who Remains, decided to manage all of the multiverse and chop them down to one universe. That's the TVA was created.
Right.
So
okay.
That's what I meant to say. My bad.
I know. No. I'm trying to put it in the words that yes, I said no. I said that it is just one, but it still doesn't make any sense how they intertwine to multiverse. So okay, I think I'm not doing a great job in explaining it. Let me go back. Originally, right? They said there's only one verse, one universe, right? That was the sacred timeline, one universe. Now, when Nexus happened, when the end of the episode happened, what happens? You started to have multiverse, but it doesn't make any sense if multiverse happened if there's only one and it's branching out. If multiverse happened, there should be multiple lines. And then Nexus happening and intertwining, connecting to the other lines. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I think that one whole line is just multiverse, but I don't know how to explain it, because it's like if multiverse is happening, it shouldn't be branching out. It should be creating another line there and then it branching out. You know what I mean?
Okay. I'll
get what I'm
roll
saying?
with that. Yeah. What I'm thinking is that because it's time, it's just still growing, and more nexus upon nexus upon nexus are just, it's becoming more of a vein, or like a network that's branching out, like your veins. You know how one vein is connected to a vein. I mean, terrible explanation, but how I see it is that the circle has been broken, And
I think I know how it works now. I think the way it works, it doesn't. With what you explain as a vein, yes and no, in a way that like this. Remember the video in the TVA when he was a prisoner, when he was captured and was standing in line. He was watching that Miss Minute.
Yeah.
He's watching this cartoon looking video.
Yes.
The way Nexus happens is once it crosses the threshold, right?
Yeah.
It makes another line that loops around.
Oh, that's a very possibility.
And then it keeps going up and then makes another line. That's why the sacred timeline is the prime timeline. That's why you have in DC, at least in DC, this is what I heard from DC a lot. There's a Superman Prime, because the Superman Prime came from the prime, the main timeline, the very first timeline. And then the rest of the other different kinds of Superman came from the branch and then made their own timeline from
that
there.
Makes sense, because if we go back into the image of one of the scene where he was explaining how it actually works with himself, he used his watch and created like how the realms look like from one top of another, like one cylinder on top of a cylinder on top of a cylinder, like layers, like you said.
Yeah.
After it crosses the threshold, it happened, just created a whole new timeline.
Yeah,
that could be it.
Yeah. But in the what throwing me off is two things. Is when it zoom, when outside of the Kang the Conqueror's place, and then you see the line is just branch. You don't see any connections. And then also on the TV, you only see those spaghettified looking lines. You don't see any. You branched out and then made another timeline. It's just, you know what I mean,
branching out.
And now if we go back to Endgame, when Hulk met the Ancient One, remember when he's trying to get the stone, Ancient One did that. So remove, because she said if you don't bring it back, or no, if you take the stone, it will build another multiverse, and that's what she did. Instead of branch,
a parallel
it will
verse,
just this is the main. It just went that way, so it went another timeline.
That's correct. I remember that scene.
Yeah. Does that make sense now? Okay.
Yeah, well, it makes sense to us. I mean, this is us trying to make logical sense to this whole
right.
So sci-fi fantasy.
So that means I was right that there's only one timeline.
That makes sense.
It doesn't explain though how, let's say the black Loki, he was already grown up when they removed it. You know what I mean?
Maybe like I said, like on the last pod, probably just lack of supervision. Probably.
Like how long did they? That's a year. So let's say Loki's 1,000 years old when they arrested him. That would delete that whole timeline from the day that he was born.
Just removing him out of the timeline just sees his existence.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a big change for that verse right there.
Right, because he grew up, he's already old, and he's 1,000 years old, and that's already branched. Because him being just the black Loki and made all these decisions would have been enough to make a separate.
I didn't think it would
timeline.
Affect his past. I thought it would just stop him from moving forward with the current timeline. But then again,
because there's only one timeline, and that one timeline is a white Loki.
Maybe you're right about erasing his existence, going to the past, only because their little bomb erases that nexus.
Yeah, it erases that event, that one time, that time right there.
Yeah, but that's for every variant that they find.
I know. So whatever changes that variant made, it will erase that and go back. Like it's a erase and rewind kind of thing.
Okay, how far do they have to rewind? Because that would just erase the.
Yeah. So whatever they had to, whatever they did that affected, that will affect a separate timeline. So let's say right now, right?
Yeah.
This is the main timeline, right? Let's say we are in the main timeline, and then I decided to go to Walmart and rob the place, right? In our main timeline, I'm not gonna do that, or I'm not doing that.
Right.
I'm still sitting here doing podcasts. But if I go there and do that, right, rob it, it will build a different timeline because that's not what I'm supposed to do.
Oh, yeah,
so now
right.
TVA will show up and delete that, go back to where I'm sitting right now before
Exactly.
I made the decision of going to Walmart.
So what I'm saying, going back with that concept, because we're on the same page. I'm just
Yeah.
saying back to the
Black Loki,
or how New Rocket, right?
new Rockstar.
New Rockstar. They call him the boastful.
Yeah, the boastful Loki.
The boastful Loki. I mean, if it's possible that he lived for thousands of years, that's a lot of time that was erased.
Well, it's gotta be because like I said, the main timeline is a white Loki, not black.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
How long? Yeah, you're right. How long did it take for them to realize? Oh wait, there's this nexus that we didn't notice.
Right. Because the Sylvie, I bet you they deleted that event from the time that she was. So let's say she was 12, right?
Yeah.
When TVA showed up. So they deleted that 12 years.
Mm-hmm.
And then go back to where he was born as a man.
Dang, wouldn't that affect every single person that was in that timeline?
No, it will delete that whole thing. So if she had an interaction with this person, right? And they knew that she was a woman, a Loki, it will delete that and go back to when they haven't met yet. You know what I mean?
So there's going to be a lot of empty spots in a lot of people's minds. Like what I mean, whom she interacted, or what I see of people's actions are like a ripple effect, or not a domino, like a ripple effect. It might affect people after people, or event after event. Just to erase that,
Oh my gosh, we froze up. Okay, we're back. So it doesn't leave them a blank. It will just, so it's like, no, it doesn't. It doesn't work the way MIB works, where it erased your memory.
Oh.
It doesn't erase your memory. It's just deleted that time that you met that person, and then you go back to 1 or to 0.
Okay, now I'm not okay. Not just that. What if this person, say we're talking about an adult, say that he lived quite a life, had a family, and or has helped other people, saved lives, or killed many people.
Yeah.
Does that it just erase his existence among all the events that he interacted, or does that just erase the whole time?
So if he's not supposed to exist, right?
Yeah.
It will erase that whole thing. So for that person, let's say I'm not supposed to exist, right?
Yeah.
And then I save your life, right? Once I get deleted or I get arrested by TVA, let's say your accident is you're trying to cross the road and then I saved you. That wouldn't happen. You will get hit. You know what I'm saying? Like there will be no interaction between us. There will be any, like no memories, no existence of us interacting.
What I mean,
because I'm gone.
Your existence is gone. I'm just. Does that also like? I agree. So the nexus is erased. Does that erase everyone else who was, affected by touch?
Yes.
Smell.
Yes. Basically, yes.
So if a baby was born, that would have been erased. Wow.
Yeah, it will be erased, and it will be. So let's say for Sylvie, right? I'd say Sylvie ended up marrying this person, right? And then she got the. She's not supposed to exist, and then at that point, she's already married. When TVA shows up and they bomb it, they will erase that whole thing where the guy that she ended up marrying will marry someone else.
Man,
you know what I'm saying?
So this Nexus event is a lot bigger than I.
Well, yeah, because it's gotta be. Because
I mean, I'm just thinking. So, what makes it? What makes a nexus a nexus? On the nexus.
Yeah, what makes the nexus is whatever decisions you made, and it will branch out and affect that main timeline.
Okay, no, what I mean is this. Now that we know that the true nature of the timeline was supposed to be in the mix of chaos, it's supposed to branch out. That's the natural form of it. There was no management. What I'm saying is that what caused a nexus to be a nexus in a nexus? Like...
So the nexus in the nexus, that's why it's multiverse.
Yeah.
The way multiverse works is, so let's say this is the prime timeline, right?
Right.
The prime timeline, and then I decided to rob Walmart, right? I robbed Walmart. There's another timeline, and during that timeline, I decided that it's every time you make decisions, that's when timeline happens. Because it's like when you flip a coin, there will be a timeline where it says yes, and there will be a timeline that says no.
Man, then I could only imagine how messy it was from the beginning.
Yeah, it's gotta be.
I wonder what took him so long to clear all the nexus or choose a timeline to be, okay, this will be it. This will be said. This is the timeline that we're going to stick to. Let's try to erase everything else.
Right. Yeah. So, because that's from Kang. Because
right.
the that way only works. Okay, that way only works if you can only already see the past to the future.
That's crazy.
It only works that way. Because if you don't see the future, you know what I mean? If you don't see the future, then you decide which one goes and which one's not. But if you can already see the future and the end, from the beginning and the end, then you just basically, okay, so this is what's supposed to happen. Now this happened. Now we got to erase that to go back. So this whole thing will happen.
Is that the reason why it's at the void? It's a dead end to the future because it's a loop.
Yeah, it might be. Well, we didn't really see the void in the when they showed briefly of what
because what they explained between Ravonna. Man, I feel bad calling her Ravina. It sounds better calling her Ravina. But Ravonna explained that the timeline, the void, is a dead end. There's nothing past that. In her, at least her explanation. Of course, probably he who remains knows, but he choose a one point. I'm assuming this is just my theory that he just decided, all right, this will be the end. We'll just loop it right after that. Just start all over.
Yeah.
And then the void was just there because it just didn't go past beyond that.
Or it might not be the void. It might be a different place. Because that void is where who he remains lives.
That's true. Maybe you're right.
You know what I mean?
So it could be just a whole separate universe.
Yeah. It might be, a lot of people think that it might be Sakaar, remember?
Yes.
Or Quantum Realms.
The Quantum Realm.
So who knows?
It's a space out of time.
Yeah, who knows? They might think it might be a propaganda, and they saying the void where they drop him off is just the void.
But wouldn't the TVA be a dimension out of time as well? So it's like there's like here's.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
I don't know. So let's go back to the series.
Yeah,
I think that was a good conversation about trying to figure out how it works.
Making timeline or time, it's makes sense in this whole series.
Yeah. So going back to the series itself.
Yes.
So it started with the Marvel instead of the regular Marvel.
Music. It just started off with the voices.
Yeah. So they started with the scripts or the lines from the movies from the Marvel, and then it changed to from that to real life quotes from our own timeline with our own in real life quotes from our real life, and then it went back to series again, and then to real life, and then some of them are just random people talking and things like that. So it's basically saying like Marvel's telling us that in the movies and the shows it's the same timeline as us,
right?
So they exist.
Oh, that's a nice interpretation.
Yeah, because that's what they're doing.
Well, that does make sense, because then as the scene kept going, it merges into the
sacred timeline. That's basically what they're trying to say.
I really like the opening. That was nice. I didn't get the interpretation. I just thought that was pretty unique.
Yeah,
you're not your typical opening.
Yeah, and then we opened up of them in the place or the castle where He Who Remains stayed. All right, so this is why I think He Who Remains. This was mentioned when He Who Remains was talking, and I said I fibbed. I actually don't know what's going on, what's gonna happen in the future. And I have two interpretations for that, but I'm gonna tell you the second. But for now, I think he one of the reasons why I think he doesn't know what's gonna happen in the future, because he was trying to convince Sylvie and Loki to stop doing what they're doing.
Yeah.
At least twice. The first one was with Miss Minute and telling them, "Hey, you guys did a great job. You guys can stop now. We're making a deal where you guys can exist in one universe together." Right. It didn't work. Now He Who Remains start talking to them and telling them, "Hey, how about this? You guys did a great job. Why don't you run this place? You guys will be me, and I can just retire." It didn't work, right? And I'll tell you the second reason later. So we ended up there, right? We ended up there, seeing what we're seeing. We saw Kang the Conqueror or he who remains, eating an apple.
Yes,
You
that's
know
right.
what? You know what reminds me of that apple?
Adam, or sorry, I didn't mean to say Adam. It just reminds me like
No, I mean you're actually right, because it's the two things that reminds me of him. The first one is, yes, Adam, even though biblically it wasn't really an apple, it's just a fruit. Yeah. Adam being the first variant,
Right.
and Adam being the first man in the Bible. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then second, so he is about time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Remember Doctor Strange when he first got the amulet or the time stone?
Correct.
He did that with the apple, going back and forth with the apple. So it's like...
So do you think he was the one who ate the apple?
No.
I know,
It's just the connection with the time.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would never have figured that out. You see how this guy thinks, man? It's just crazy.
But the one with the atom, that kind of like, I wonder if they're making a nod with that. You know what I mean? It's like him taking the bite. It's like, nope, this is the end. You know what I mean? It's like, it's why apple? I don't even think he needs to eat. You know what I'm saying?
Well, he has been alive for years, so
Right.
probably
I don't even think there's a need for him to eat. So
time
why?
stopped, so I don't think hunger even matters to him.
Right. Yeah. That's how I picture God. When I say God is not bounded in time. I think God is looking at the past and the future, the beginning and the end in one looking. That's what he's doing. You know what I mean? Which makes sense how free will works, and that's a lot.
That's a whole...
Yeah, that's
I was tripping on that one. I was like, before even meeting him, I thought it was funny how they were at the door. It just seemed like in a negative way in the show, but it just seemed it was a kid who said, I've been trying to get to this point my whole life. Give me a moment to breathe. Like a kid trying to meet her celebrity.
Right.
Like all the thing was missing is just the hand. Give me a breath. Give me some.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty funny. Then Loki was like, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So they from that point they entered in, met up with Miss Minute, which we both mentioned because you asked me on the last pod. It's like, do you think she was on this? Like, Miss Minute is participating on this? Like, yep. They called that one. I felt good about that.
Yeah. New Rockstar kind of gave us an idea that she might be into it.
I forgot if he said that or not.
Yeah.
But I really believe she was in it, which was cool. And yeah, going back to the Apple thing, going back to He Who Remains, just made him more really like a man. Again, it just kind of throws me off because I was expecting a more personality from one of Thanos' minions, the wizard guy. More of that kind of attitude, a snobby, chill. It's like, you've entered my kingdom, kind of thing. But that went downhill.
Well, I had the same reaction, and I was like I said, I was like, so he's not that. And then when he explained that he is a good version, then it makes sense now why he acting like that.
Yeah, after he explained his whole reason of doing this and that, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it makes.
But it didn't make sense why he had to. Why he has to create TVA or pull them out of their existence, which was pretty funny how they ended up finding her as a teacher in one of the scenes later on, Ravonna.
So I think the reason why he had to pull him out is he needs help.
Well, that, and maybe they were from a Nexus that wasn't supposed to have him. It was like, hey, I'll grab her from the Nexus. And
I thought that was apparent. So all of them are variants. All of them are not supposed to exist. All of them are Nexus.
Oh no, we knew that. What I'm saying is that I'm thinking that during his process of now having control of this sacred timeline, it's like, I need help. I can't do this all by myself. And then probably took people from their Nexus, which we both agreeing on that. And doesn't explain how he erased their minds though. Probably he has a machine there.
Yeah, most likely. I mean, they have a machine to prune you, and they have a machine to slow you down. There's got to be a machine to reset your brain. Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's go back to. So from there, we pan out to Ravonna.
Yes.
Meeting Mobius now, and Ravonna talked to Miss Minute, that didn't explain. I have no idea. I tried to guess what Miss Minute have her read, because she said this is what he wants you to know, right?
Yeah.
And then she made that decision of leaving. We don't know where she went.
But she had a reason to. She did have a reason. The last line she said, where Mobius asked, "Where are you going?" To find something. What was her last line? To find something, not in the line of immortality. It's like find my reason to, like, some kind of purpose.
Yeah, yeah, but it's still ambiguous. Like, there's okay, find something. Find what? What are you trying to do? You said you find something, but what are you finding?
I honestly thought she was gonna meet up with. I thought from when her line was something that made me trigger. Maybe she's going to meet with the variant, with the science guy, with He Who Remains. Because she said she's going to find purpose, or I forgot her line. It was more like in the line of power, politics, like in a very, very high position. She was trying to stick for her own neck.
Yeah, it might be because I thought about this. I think the timeline where Loki ended up going is the timeline where Ravonna tried to meet with Kang.
Yeah.
Because New Rockstar said in the original comic books, Kang and Ravonna had a relationship. So that might be the timeline she ended up going. Not the timeline she ended up going. That's the timeline that she ended up making. And that's where Loki ended up going. That might be a possibility. But I still don't know, like, Kang might given her an information, hey, this is me, we need to go here so we can rule this again and save TVA, kind of thing. You know what I mean?
I think so, but then it just went downhill after that. That's the vibe I got towards the end.
Yeah. And then the B-15 convinced the other dude that's like, yo, we're variants, here we go, here's the teacher. New Rockstar called that right.
Yeah.
And they said the pen, it was right there.
Yep.
That she was a teacher, which is in the comic books she was a teacher.
And then it's very possible that Mobius was actually a snow, whatever, something he wanted for snow. Like he was when he was in the episode 1 or 2 or 3, was it, where he was in the one of the break room with Loki reading something. He's like, man, snowboarding. He was like,
no, jet ski.
Or jet ski. It's possible that he was a jet ski guy.
Yeah, most likely. That's most likely. Well, it wasn't explained, but that most likely what happened. Okay, so let's go back to the second reason, right? The second reason why
I'm interested in what your reason is.
The second reason why I think he has no idea, and this is what I think. All right, so if the I might go a little bit more about this. If the sacred timeline is a loop, right? It's going loop. And because you said I don't understand that when he said they hit the threshold. What didn't you understand?
I didn't understand, it made me think that maybe he finally maxed out on knowing everything. Like he knew everything, and he mentioned he knew everything at a certain point. And from that new point, everything was new to him. It was just because he said like 10 seconds ago, I don't know what's happening next. I don't know what's going to happen next. What I'm saying is that he knew his sacred timeline from beginning. He knew the script. He knew every single thing that was happening. He knew who this, who that, and all this. And now he's just another variant outside of the timeline.
So this is what I think. I think, right? I think he knows everything because it's a loop from the beginning to the end, right? He knows all of that. With that said, when Ravonna did something left, because that's when the right after that scene, Kang the Conqueror was talking to them, yelling at Sylvie, "You hypocrite, you murderer!" And then all of a sudden, like a thunder sound happened.
Right.
And then the look on his face. He did this. He grabbed something and did this. It's like, that's it. Hit the threshold. That's all I know. 10 seconds ago, I fibbed. It reminds me of Inception. You've seen Inception, right?
Yes.
So they have an item when they know they're in the dream. For Leonardo, is the top, right? He will spin it. If he keeps spinning, that means he's on a dream. Now this dude, he has like a marker or something that he will do something. That means if that item did something, I don't know what it was. If it did something, that means he's still in the loop of the main timeline. If it did something else, that means he's now in a different timeline. It's doing a different timeline. So with that said, this is what I think, and this might be a possibility or might be a reach. All of the convincing from Miss Minute, all of the convincing that He Who Remains did is not the first time it happened. I think there's a versions of Sylvie and Loki getting there and talking to him. That's why he could dodge all their attacks, because he encountered them multiple times, like million times before.
I see.
You know what I'm saying? Like it happened. It makes sense why Ravonna got that mark on her desk, and it was Mobius who's doing that. You know what I mean? Because it happened before. It's been happening over and over again before, and he was just deleting it. So it's either Kang will just convince them that, okay, I made you this offer, and then tricked them and then deleted them so it will go back to the main timeline, or Miss Minute gave them the option and they agreed with it, and then Kang tricked them and then deleted them, you know what I mean? And go back to the main timeline or something. But I think that's not the first time they Kang or He Who Remains encountered Sylvie and Loki in that room.
That makes sense.
You know what I mean? And when they kept saying no, and Sylvie said, I'm gonna kill you, and then Ravonna did that or did something, that made a different timeline. After that, it's like, I don't know anything now. You know what I mean?
That's crazy. I didn't even see the connection there, but that makes sense.
Yeah.
Nice catch.
So I think that might be a possibility. That's just what I deducted.
What was
thought about
the mark that Mobius did with the cup? What was that?
Oh, it's just his drink.
Yeah.
Right. He doesn't use coasters, so we'll just leave it there with his drink or whatever he's drinking.
Are you saying that the mark is still fresh?
No, it's always been there, because I think the first or second episode when Mobius was with Ravonna, he placed his drink, he picked it up, and then there's another ring mark in there with his ring mark, and then Ravonna looked at the same thing, either after or before she was talking to Miss Minute and got all the information she needs. She looked at that too.
So all those moments where meeting the fake timeline or the timekeepers, that was all part of the script until Ravonna went off script.
Yeah, went off script. I think it might be like He Who Remains gave her an option and she didn't do it. You know what I mean? Or might be from Sylvie and Loki deciding, you know what, we're gonna kill you. Whoa. That may be a major nexus, because he's ended up dying.
After thousands of years, one mistake just happened, and it happened big.
Yeah, what screwed me over or boggled my mind when He Who Remains said, "I'll see you later." I'm like, what do you mean by "I see you later"? And that's when I still thought until the time when Mobius, right, the other version of Mobius, talked to Loki, said, "Where are you from?" Like he never recognized Loki. That's the only time I was convinced that He Who Remains was a good guy. From that then on, I thought he was a bad guy. I thought like he was tricking them. I thought he was the legit King the Conqueror who's gonna reign and be a main villain.
Exactly.
But until the time that he ended up in the different version of TVA, right?
Right.
And saw the statue, I'm like, holy smoke, that guy was a good guy. He was warning them. He was telling the truth. I thought he was lying.
I mean, who wouldn't believe? I mean, after all what they've gone through, it's hard to believe truth at that time.
Yeah, and it's Marvel show too. You know what I mean? Like you never know.
But yeah, you're right. That I agreed that he was good after seeing that statue. I was like, oh
yeah.
Or Actually, I agreed to believe he was the good guy from when he explained the story. I mean, it's kind of hard to believe him off the bat that he's the good guy and trying to remove his other variants.
Yeah, yeah. And also when as soon as he showed up, right? As soon as Loki got kicked out of that room, ended up in TVA. I was asking myself, I was like, why are the guards not arresting him? Like, he's still a popular Loki, so they should know him.
Maybe
you know
because
what I mean?
the uniform.
What do you mean uniform? He wasn't wearing any uniform.
He's still wearing a uniform. It was just messed up. Not his costume. He was wearing TVA uniform. He was wearing his shirt and tie.
Yeah, so, I know, but they can still see his face. You know what I mean? So I was like, maybe these people are just freaking out and focus on, we need to do something because all the branch are happening.
I mean, after seeing how big TVA was, I mean, even Mobius was wondering, what unit are you from? Who are you? I mean, they all know each other by number, not by name. Like, there's B-15, C-17.
Right. I'm talking about, okay, so if this was the main timeline.
Oh, I see what you mean.
And their main goal is to arrest Loki's, you know what I mean? They should know him.
You're right. I just realized what you're saying now.
Yeah. So how come the soldiers that he encountered pushing around, like nobody's like, oh, we need to arrest you. You know, you're a bad guy. But no, until Mobius said that, what unit are you? I was like, oh, that makes sense. Because this is a different universe of TVA. This is a version of TVA where they weren't arresting Loki's.
It makes sense. Then doesn't that confirm that TVA is part of I mean, it's not the quantum realm?
Yeah.
Because the quantum realm is supposedly not affected by the time, but this time it was.
Yeah. So it might not be in quantum realm. But that like so remember the time that I told you I don't get shocked about this big revelations anymore, and that's because of Rick and Morty. Because of that. It's like in multiverse there's a millions infinite number versions of you. When you end up showing in this one version, you'll be like, oh, okay, I'm irrelevant in this universe.
I might end up watching Rick and Morty when I'm out.
Oh my gosh, dude, that show is great.
How many episodes are there in one season?
I don't know, 13 maybe. It's quick. It's like 20 minutes per episode. But they have post-credit scenes, so always wait for post-credit.
I'm surprised you watched for the post-credit.
Yeah, but their post-credit is not a revelation for the next episode. That's the only reason why I don't watch post-credit scenes from animes, because they reveal the next.
That's true.
The next episode. This one they don't.
Some of them don't though.
Yeah, but this one they don't. Yeah. Well, as far as I'm concerned now, even the ones that it's not connected to the next episode, it didn't really matter. I mean, same thing with Rick and Morty. It didn't really matter, but it's still fun to watch them.
Right.
That it's still kind of like blue, because I didn't expect it. That was a good ending, because I didn't expect that he will end up being in a different TVA. I was like, yo, that was a crazy ending. Like Mobius telling him, who are you?
What unit are you from?
What unit are you from?
And then the moment he turned his face, he saw King, and then he's calling everyone else. I thought he was calling backup to get a hold of this guy.
That was crazy.
It was. They were looking. Yeah, you're right. I don't know how to respond to this, because it changed it all. I mean, we all thought that TVA was outside of the quantum, was part of the quantum realm, but this ain't quantum realm. I'm looking forward to what comes next. This is cool.
I wonder though. I think Sylvie is gonna stay there and encounter different millions and different versions of Kang, because we know Kang would want to be in that place, or someone would want to be in that place.
Do you think Sylvie is gonna play a big role in the next?
Oh, I think so. I really think she's gonna play a big role in the whole Marvel Cinematic Universe. I think she might end up staying there, because she still has the watch, and the watch is kind of like a more advanced tempad.
Yeah, that thing is the main one, I guess.
Who he remains has, yeah. Because I think that place, millions of different people were gonna show up there. It's either Kang, another version of Sylvie, another version of Loki's, and a lot of those. It's gonna be crazy.
Do you think because of that one, He Who Remains died, and because he kept saying, "I'll be back at the seat again," do you think there'll be other versions of that time?
Yeah, other versions of him in there.
In
not
their
not the
own-
one that she killed. That one is gone.
There'll be other versions of that void
Mm-hmm.
because he died.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's interesting.
That would be really interesting.
I wonder who Loki will meet at the void this time in the timeline he's in.
I wonder where that whole place is located. Where does it exist?
The void?
No, not the void. Well, yeah, the void, but the
TVA?
the area where He Who Remains staying, because there won't be any multiverse for that. I know that for sure. Because that's where the prime verse is.
Yeah,
you know
the
what I
prime
mean?
universe.
And the other universe will just branch out from there.
Yeah, I think that's just really a very outside dimension, like very outside.
Yeah.
I completely believe that place is a god realm where you're outside of time and he's watching everything. Just the same example that you said.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and everybody wants to be there. Now, Tempads works in that place.
That's true. So maybe it works because it's in a timeline?
I don't know.
Oh, that dude is back. What do you call those things? Millipede or centipedes? Those little mini ones?
A what?
Sorry, we have a little friend that I saw in the bathroom. It's that little creature with the long arms. I think it's a centipede.
A centipede. I hate centipedes. There's centipedes. Where did it go?
It just crawled in. Give me a sec. Sorry.
Where did it crawl?
It came under the door and entered in. Where'd he go? Where'd you go?
Well, that's kind of hard to keep track now.
Damn it, now I know he's in the house.
Is it big?
No, it's well, I don't know if this is how full size of it. It's not the big ones that we see at the...
Where did it crawl towards? That's funny. Maybe there will be a different version of that in the universe where you get to kill him.
Well, I hope he doesn't bite my ass when he...
I know. I heard those are venomous. I don't know. At least the ones in the Philippines are.
I should have killed him when I saw it the first time around.
Oh, you didn't kill it in the bathroom?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's on you. I wonder how it crawled in there.
Oh, you know the bathroom window is still linked to the ground outside?
Yeah.
So I'm assuming there's a hole that it can...
I don't know. Sometimes bugs just show up out of nowhere.
Yep, it does.
Did it crawl towards your bed?
No, it just crawled in and going straight and then disappeared behind the desk.
Oh, nice. All right. Well, I guess that's it, right?
That's a good way to end it.
Yeah, that's a good way to end it. You guys know where to find us.
Yeah.
We're going to end this podcast. If you enjoyed this episode and if you enjoy Loki, let us know. He's still a little paranoid about the bug.
Yeah, because this is my...
This is his room.
/studio.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll talk to you guys later. We hope you enjoy this. Follow us, subscribe to this podcast, or to this vodcast.
Podcast, nice.
Yeah, it's a video podcast.
I know.
We'll see you guys later. We thank you. Please comment and say hi to TT Bell. Say hi to TT Bell.
Late.
We'll see you guys later. Bye.
Ta-ra.